innovative content, global audience.
Hello, good morning, viewers. A very warm welcome to you from the world's capital city. This is Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Princess Kessie. How are you doing today, and how is Nigeria today? Yes, we know that Labour is, trying to be reasonable, at least let it not be as if they are too stiff, too hard. Anyway, now that the federal government have decided to look into it, I think the president actually gave the Minister of Finance ultimatum, 48 hours ultimatum, to look into the minimum wage again, to do another review, to add up, to top up. Anyway, we can't wait to see what they are up to or what they will be offering this time. And I do hope that that will be pleasing to our dear organized labor and, of course, our dear workers. Good morning to you. We have quite a lot coming in from our dailies today, so much. But let's not forget also, before we go into that, we know that it has been, the labor issues all over Nigeria, grinding and, holding Nigeria to a standstill. That is something I actually love, though. The fact that Labour was able to put through for one full day, shaking the government and shaking everybody, they actually set the nation crawling. And now that the government has decided to do the needful, we know that Labour only suspended that strike for 5 days. So federal government, let's not go back there. Do what is right. Of course, we have our super lawmakers, our dear senators. They live a lavish lifestyle. So why can't the workers have a good life as well? Well, that's my personal opinion. Like I said, it's a very beautiful Wednesday morning here in London, and I'm feeling myself. I know you're feeling yourself as well. Now, today the world celebrates World Environment Day. There's quite a lot we're going to be talking about on that, and we already have a professional in that field that will be talking us through what this day is all about, and of course what is expected of you and I to do, to be doing moving forward. Have you ever planted a tree? Well, I have. I planted so many flowers, so many trees in my parents' compound then, and even before I came back to London, I actually planted a tree, and I'm so proud of myself right now. So I urge you to do the same. And also today, the world celebrates World, HIV Long-Term Survivor Day. A lot of people are living with the virus, but it's not living with it. How are they surviving? So we celebrate those that are still holding on, that are, taking their medication, living healthy, and they are still strong like us. So today we celebrate them. These are some of the things we'll be talking about. I didn't bring a specialist on that because in 2 days' time we'll be celebrating as well HIV World Testing Day. Maybe then we'll have a professional and a doctor to tell us the importance, of knowing your status and, of course, what you're supposed to do after that. Like I said, I already have Abuja seated this morning. A very beautiful Mary is there waiting for me. Good morning, Mary. How are you today?
I'm fine. Good morning, Princess. How is London this morning?
London is very hot. The sun is up. You can see I'm not fidgeting. I'm not too cold today. Anyway, Mary, you look so beautiful in your red. Tell me what's happening in Abuja today. Are people moving around? Everything is back to normal, right?
Yeah, before today, I think from yesterday evening, they already started moving around, and all the places that were locked, they started opening it. And another good news, we had light yesterday, so it looks like everything was turning to normal. Even though we know that them calling off the strike, they said they're only giving like 5 days. If nothing is done, they'll go back. We'll continue with the strike. But everything is moving normal right now, like as before. So Abuja is cool, even though it's rained this morning.
Anyway, I know the federal government have given Tinubu, I beg your pardon, actually gave the finance minister 48 hours ultimatum to address the issue of minimum wage, to maybe add up something. But will Labour be okay with that? We can't wait to see what their reaction will be. Like I said. Anyway, I don't want you people to go back into that darkness, into that stress, struggle. We just hope that the two Labour and federal government will find a balance for the sake of the people. And we already have our guest here, but I just want her to be settled, and of course we'll bring her on the show today. Mary, we have quite a lot also, in our dailies today. We'll be looking at them shortly, but first I want to bring our guest this morning, Mrs. Bridget Ode. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. How are we doing today?
Oh, very well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right, ma'am, we're going to take you off the screen. We need you to settle before we can bring you. You are not supposed to hold the phone. Maybe you need to rest it somewhere and you sit properly, ma'am, so we
Okay,
can see you well.
it's okay.
All right, we also have this morning joining us, Comrade Anidi God's Power. Is joining us this morning to talk about, some of these issues we have, crucial national issues we have, that are actually bothering on us. So we move quickly to the first newspaper this morning. But how are you this morning, Comrade? Comrade, can you hear us? Hello, Comrade.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, how are you today? How are you
I can
today?
hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, she can hear you. We can hear you. Good morning.
Okay, I think you need to unmute your sound, Comrade. Yes, we have Mrs.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, comrade. We'll get to you shortly.
I'm
Good morning,
fine.
ma'am. You are still not settled, madam. We need you to be settled, to sit down
Yeah,
the way
good
we
morning.
sit down and drop your phone, ma'am. And you have to sit and face the light so we can
All
see
right,
your
I'll
face.
I'll just set up now and
All right, ma'am. Comrade, good morning. How are you today?
I think his network. Like he can't
Good
actually hear us.
morning. I'm fine. How are you
Okay.
doing today?
Well, very well. Thank you, and thanks for joining us this morning. Okay, we have network issues with Comrade. I bet that's why we can hardly hear him. Anyway, Mary, let's move quickly to the papers. And what do we have today? Now, like I said, apart from the World Environment Day, as we celebrate, the environment, nature itself, and of course, HIV long-term survival day. We have quite a lot as well coming in from our dailies. Mary, let's kickstart immediately.
Okay, we'll start with the punch. And the big story on the punch says minimum wage talks. Labour considers 100,000 naira as Tinubu issues ultimatum. And the writer says President orders minister to calculate cost. Labour gives 1 week ultimatum. And you can find this story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. And here we have another story at the top left that says sell crude to Dangote refinery. Federal government directs IOCS. And that story is on page 21 of the Punch newspaper. And then we have another story that says Naira may settle at 1,450 Naira per dollar by December. This is coming from Fitch Ratings. And that story is on page 21 of the Punch newspaper. And here there's a story that says local government funds. Reps back federal government suit against governors. And that story is on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. And here there's a story that says 30 governors spent 968 billion naira on refreshment, others in 3 months. And this is coming from reports. And that story is on page 31 of the Punch newspaper. And here we have a story that says one killed, 50 miners trapped as pit collapses in Niger. And that story is on page 5 of the Punch newspaper. We have another story here that says CNG will reduce petrol imports by $4.4 billion coming from federal government. And you can find that story on page 23 of the Punch newspaper. Please hunt for tenants as landlord dies during face-off. And that story is on page 5 of the Punch newspaper. And here we have another story that says PSC unveils 10,000 recruits, drops 61,092 applicants. And that story is on page 30 of the Punch newspaper. These are all the stories we have this morning on the Punch.
What did I just hear about our dear governors? Refreshment of how much in 3 months?
That's why they don't want the full autonomy of the local government. You can see how selfish these people are and how they can be. Like we said it earlier on that for these people to actually be fighting against local governments for autonomy, for them to be against it and proving otherwise, it means they're actually gaining a lot. Because look at the kind of money they're actually spending for themselves. Now, they're not even doing anything in the state, not to talk of even the local government. So if they cannot even do anything for the state that they are ruling, so why would they not remember the local government to even allow them to do some things as maybe local government chairman and all of that? So that's the problem. They're just being selfish.
Wow. Like I'm literally shocked right now that we can just sit here and read this as if it's nothing.
But
The
it's some
fact that Labour has been clamoring for a minimum wage, what is due to them, workers' welfare, that governors are even frowning at. Some of them refuse to pay the 70,000 minimum wage, except for Lagos and Edo State. And then we are now having our dear governors, 30 governors, spend that is, let's just say, 1 trillion on refreshments. What are they drinking or eating, maybe? I do not understand your governors.
it's the flexing life now. It's the flexing life. And the thing is, they just say they squander this money. We will not talk about the people that they send money to.
No, we are not even talking about others. We're just talking about their refreshments alone.
It's just too much. When people are in that state dying, crying, people are in that state, they can't even see the least water. The least water to drink. They find it difficult to even get water. And people are using all this for refreshment. No jobs, nothing is moving. So this is where
I am
what
shocked.
that
I am literally shocked that governors will spend almost 1 trillion naira in 3 months for refreshments, and then this same governor that refused to pay workers, this same governor that do not want the local government to go. They don't want local government autonomy. They just want to keep holding, tightening them, eating, squandering their money. Anyway, we'll come back to this story. We have quite a lot in Punch, but because we have a professional in our midst, I really want to bring her in so she can go back to work quickly. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us, madam.
Yes.
Yes,
It's nice
today's
being
word.
here.
Yes, ma'am, we're fine. Today's World Environment Day. How do you feel about that as an environmentalist?
As an environmentalist, it's exciting that a day is set out specifically to bring about information about environment and to create awareness so that people will know how important our environment is to us.
Wow. And what's this day? Yeah, we talk about World Environment Day. To us, the lay people, it could be a day of, normally when we were growing up, we just think it's a day we'll go and clean our environment, clean our houses. That is the environment. The lay person is usually, we are used to that. Tell us more in depth. What is this day all about?
Actually, the environment is far beyond just keeping our space clean. The environment is made up of both the macro and the micro parts. In short, it is the macro components of the environment that people neglect more. That's to say, we neglect those organisms and those things we feel are very tiny that are within our space, but we don't know they help us to keep a balance of the whole earth, the whole environment. They work together. It's a cycle. You cannot do without, the world cannot do without the other parts. So these other parts that are negligible, like things like when people gather dirt, we Nigerians, especially Africans, we are clean people by nature. We don't like seeing our environment, and that's our immediate space dirty. So we just gather dirt, put them together, we ensure we dump them somewhere. We don't want to know what happens to that dump. So people need to be aware of what happens to that dump, because there's going to be like accumulation later on. And when all of this come together, it's going to destroy the environment. It's just like injecting bad thing or what is poisonous in the environment, because there are some that are degradable and some that are non-degradable.
Wow. That's quite amazing. And now, ma'am, from all what you have said, ma'am, so what are we supposed to do? Talking about the environment, how do we now inculcate this habit, to be mindful of the environment, ma'am? What are we supposed to do?
As a people, we need to, first of all, be open-minded. The problem a lot of us have is not being open-minded. We just want to stick to what we already know. We need to be open-minded because researches are carried out every day and new informations come into our space and we are informed, we are armed with new information. So people need to be open-minded. For instance, if you tell people that whatever they have used, especially things like plastics, plastic can be recycled, but if you tell people that when you want to trash things, you have to separate them, you have to segregate them, so that you know the ones that are recycled, that are recyclable, and you know those that maybe you can use for compost, they will be like, what kind of stress is that? These people have come with their stress. They are speaking too many English. But they will not know that this is very important. And over years, research has been done, and we have seen that there are some things that cannot degrade on their own. So that those that are non-degradable, we can recycle them and make use of them later.
Well, I believe also that my team will have their questions. Even Comrade will have your question. But before then, ma'am, now for instance, I'm in the UK presently, and for instance, if you go to you go to the mall, anything you see, okay, we have network issues with um our guest, but we do hope that she's going to be back shortly. But today is World Environment Day, Mary. Let me ask you, have you ever planted a tree once?
I have never done that. I've never done
Have
that,
you
but
ever planted at least a flower?
no. The one I would say I've done before is just the normal vegetables that we know that we
That
eat.
is because you are Igbo. That is because you people like too much vegetable and you eat too
I
much.
know she'll come for me. I know she'll come for me. But that's the thing. But talking about beautiful trees, beautiful flowers, nature, I've never done that. But the normal vegetable, that is the pork leaf, the green leaf, the scent leaf, and there's what we call this thing curry. I don't know if you.
Okazi and the rest, we know Igbo woman. That's why people care about food. We are talking about nature. We are talking about, the
I'm
environment
telling you the
itself.
one I've
Now,
done. I'm telling you the one I've done.
I actually have a priest, my other brother that does a program, um, on a TV program on weekly basis on Mother Earth. That's the name of the program. And it usually talk about nature, the essence. People treat nature. People just come and cut a wood, people just come and clear, people just come and do things without thinking about these things. Now, my question would be, here over in the UK where I'm right now, you see that when you even go to the shop, for instance, every nylon bag you see, they will tell you there's an inscription on it, right? So you know what to do with it, even at the point where you're supposed to dispose or not to dispose. And now every can you see, because here we buy the fresh milk, the liquid milk, and they tell you this is actually you have to recycle this. So there are inscriptions that come with this, and because people already know what to do, the importance of this, we know how to use them. And here in the environment, I was actually surprised last week to know that you're not supposed to just trash everything. There are things you don't have right to throw outside the waste bin outside your house. You have to pack them in your car, drive to a particular place where you will be shot. Over 100 people are there trashing the same item. And now this enable the government, uh, gather and collect these things for recycle. And now, but in Nigeria, ma'am, we do not. Do you think is lack of awareness, or what are we supposed to do? Because people like here is anywhere you go, you see it, it's written there, it's there, so people are doing it. But in Nigeria, that is not the case. For instance, also here, you don't have a right to cut a tree anyhow. You don't have a right to here we have the green areas, we have the trees, we have nature, things you can see that people are actually taking care of. And even if you try to bring them down, people will fight you for that. But we know in Nigeria that may not also be the case. So do you think that is lack of awareness, or is something we are not actually doing right?
I think lack of awareness is part of it, but government has a huge role to play. In places like where you are, it's because government has made a system available that people can have, after taking out debt from their immediate environment in their house. Is that okay? There are trucks that come to pick up these dumps that have been selected and been dumped in different containers according to how the specification goes. But here we don't have anything like that. People just dump trash on the street because they don't have a landfill where they can go, and just like the one you described now. So people must always, as humans, we must create waste. It's part of our being, our nature to create waste. When we create waste, it is important that government that is in charge of providing things like services make also available things that places where people can dump their waste. But here we don't have anything like that. People just on their own decide as a community to say this is where we'll be dumping waste, and it is not acceptable. It is not ideal, because that is what brings about outbreaks of epidemics. When you hear things like cholera, you have things, all these outbreaks is because people dump refuse where they are not supposed to dump them. And we have a lot of people that still take their water, their drinking water, and the rest from the streams. Imagine that all these dumps that are dumped indiscriminately still find their way back to the streams, especially those in the rural environment. So you see, this cycle of disease will keep as the rainy season comes into Nigeria now, you will hear different outbreaks of different kind of diseases. It's because government has not, but the people on themselves are very clean people, are conscious of keeping themselves clean and the environment clean, but their immediate environment is clean. But the government needs to do more. When we talk about things like trees, planting of trees and felling down of trees, people don't have option. The poverty is too much. So they are still stuck with the old way of having energy to cook food. So they have to cut down trees to cook. And the government is very aware of this. It's not as if they do it because they like it. It's because they don't have option. And as humans, we have already evolved to the point where we have to cook our meals. So people will still have to fall back to whatever is available, which is the trees. And government cannot, even if they have policies, they cannot enforce them because they know they have not made these things available. In other climes, because the government know that they have made gas available, electricity is available, are you getting it? The people don't have option but to use what government has made available. So the government has a lot to do. They have to make up their mind. It's because they trivialize these things and see them as nothing. But they are very important because gradually, apart from losing our biodiversity, things like animals that are going into extinction in our environment, we also have plants too that are going to extinction because people are harvesting them more than they are supposed to. And there is no sustainability. That's to say, in the next, some years to come, our children will not see some of these plants and these animals. They will be nowhere to be found.
That is serious.
Okay,
Yes.
so I just want to ask this question. Just like you said, that in the nearest future, our children might not even see where to plant. So what should we do as a people to actually stop all this?
As I said before, as a people, there is almost like a little we can do because the bottom line is survival. The bottom line is survival. Where there is no availability, where there is no provision, people will always look for how to survive. And the only this thing they fall back to is nature. What is available in our environment, and they make do with whatever they find. So if government and those in government sit in the parliament and keep formulating policies they know they cannot back up, they cannot make provision for, it means we are going to continue like this for a long time. We are not being realistic. When they hear people like United States, like United Arab Emirates, talking about green environment and the rest, sometimes I'm sure they sit and laugh at them and be like, these people don't know what they are talking about. Money that they should have invested in better things, they are using it to save nature. But they don't know it because these people have started to listen to researchers. They have started to listen to recommendations that have been made, that have been gathered through research. The earlier we start listening to those that are doing research, the better for us. Our nation can never be better without listening to those that are on the field doing the research.
Anyway, ma'am, you said quite a lot, but now let's talk about climate change. You know, we talk about today is World Environment Day. Now, what is the relationship between this day we celebrate and the much talked about, climate change?
I think this awareness is very important because a lot of people are still living in denial when you talk about climate change. Climate change goes hand in hand with global warming because that is our reality now. I know that even in places like the US, there are people that are still in denial about climate change, but climate change is here with us. We have seen that our climate has changed. For instance, in Nigeria now, this is Abuja, and we are in June already, and rain has not started falling as supposed. That's to say something has happened. The climate has changed. The climate is defined as the atmospheric condition of a place over a long period of time, say like 30, 35 years, it can be determined. And over the years, the studies have shown that rain is supposed to start in places like Abuja from April, May. But it is no longer so. It's delaying. What is bringing about this delay? It's because something has gone wrong. The energy balance of the earth has been distorted. The energy balance has been distorted. We are receiving more solar radiation and we are having less of it leaving our atmosphere, thereby having a deficit of so much heat within the atmosphere. What is causing this? It's because humans have decided to start removing those things that regulate the carbon that is stored within our global energy balance. Some of these things are the plants, the green vegetation. With lots of urbanization, we are cutting down trees. We are paving ways. We are making everywhere smooth. We don't have water sinking into the ground again because everywhere is being paved and cemented. We have roads everywhere. So we experience lots of surface runoffs, which lead to flooding because they make the rivers swell more than what they are supposed to. And we have the ice caps that are permanently frozen. The permafrost in the north and the southern poles, they are also melting. They are no longer permanently frozen. So when they melt, they still go back to the rivers and end up in the seas, thereby increasing the volume of water. So we are experiencing things like flooding, we are experiencing things like desert encroachment. All of this is due to climate change and global warming. So I think this awareness is very, very important that people get to know. And I am grateful that a day like this is set aside to raise awareness of what is happening.
Wow, thank you so much, man. You have made so much sense of this very special day we celebrate. And before you go, you talk about, we cutting down, in Nigeria, the habit of, cutting down trees. Any tree is for cooking, is for burning or whatever. And people feel that is when you have empty space that you actually have, the feel of nature. But apart from, the beautification of the trees, the green area, what is the other benefits, of tree planting?
Okay, apart from the beautification of the green areas,
Yes, the tree
you
planting
were
of tree.
asking about the benefits of today's
Of tree
uh,
planting.
today's awareness and setting aside this day is very important. I think one place that as humans we should be thinking about and starting off is conscientizing the little ones, especially those from like the crèche level, primary level, getting them informed about how it's important for us to save our environment so that Earth doesn't get to a level where we go into extinction. Because studies have shown that the planet Mars used to have water bodies because there are signs showing it. But something happened, that's why Mars has gone quiet and there is nothing there now. We don't want our Earth to get to that level. And it is on us as a people to educate ourselves, especially the younger generation, to know that it is on us to save our planet. Because without the environment, the planet will be dead. The planet is the environment because the environment sustains every living being inside this planet. Thank you very much.
Okay, I just want to
Well,
ask this last
go
question.
ahead.
Okay, I would like to know what are the risks that our plants and animals face here in the country?
You said what are
The risk, the risks that our plants and animals face here in the country.
uh,
Diseases.
they face so much risk.
Common
They
diseases.
face the risk of extinction. Huh? And there will be influx of so many diseases for both plants and animals because we are introducing many things into the environment like use of lots of chemicals to increase growth and production of plants and animals, thereby opening them to diseases. And apart from that, that mutation is going to take place in their genes. This will also be transferred to humans because we are going to consume them. And once we consume them, we are also at the high risk of our own genes being mutated too because we are not eating them in their natural state. And time will come that it will no longer be sustainable. And many of them, because humans are very selfish, it is said that humans are the greatest predators on earth. We are the ones that destroy the earth more than any other thing. So humans need to be conscious that if we don't take care of these things, we are going to destroy ourselves in the long run. The animals too are going to face a lot of health challenges. The plants too are will go into extinction. I know growing up as a child, I grew up in Abuja here. Trees like the shea butter and the rest were sacred trees. They were not allowed to be touched. But now people are bringing them down left, right, and center. Because shea butter, apart from being an economic tree, that they export what comes out of it, it also helps in environment.
Well, she just said quite a lot. I am just wowed. Like I said earlier, some of us we grew up with the mindset of environment. When we hear environment, we begin to clean our houses, we begin to clean the surrounding. But now we've come to understand that it's beyond just cleaning. We'll talk about nature itself. And of course, like I said, I know somebody that does the program Mother Earth. And so we know the importance of the earth itself, nature and all that. Ma'am, but I know that will promise that we won't take your time. But before we let you go, network, you have to allow me ask the last question before we let her go. As we celebrate this year's, World Environment Day, we do hope that Nigerians, especially, I know what I'm talking about. Nigerians, we should actually take this seriously. People just come, they kill animals, they do whatever they want, they don't care, they cut trees. No, I think maybe because I'm opportune to be here, I've come to understand that there are things you do not. When I came where I was living first, I saw an animal, walking on the street are like, oh my goodness, in my place that is actually used for pepper soup, and somebody say try it and spend the rest of your life in jail. And but people will not even understand the importance of this thing. So ma'am, before we let you go, this year's theme, World Environment Day, has as theme as land restoration, stopping uh, desertification, and building drought resilience. Now, with this theme they have this year, can you explain it for us, the lay people, to know? Maybe that should be our take home today.
Okay. So when you talk about land restoration, sometimes some people call it, apart from land restoration, there's also land reclamation. The world is looking at, we know we have done a lot of bad to our environment. How do we bring it back to life? How do we restore our environment? Some of the ways we can do this is being intentional about things like afforestation. But before you talk about afforestation, we need to provide people with alternative energy so that they will not have need to fall down these trees, because it is out of desperation they go into these things. Then when you talk about building resilience, having an earth or even having plants that can stand the test of time, not just those plants that you create in the lab, but even in the desert area, places like United Arab Emirates, they've done it. I'm sure that's why they are hosting this year's day. They've done it. They've been able to claim a lot of land from the desert through things like cloud seeding and the rest of them. That place, if you go there, you'll be surprised. You will not want to believe it's a desert. But with government determination, if they can do it, any part of the world can do it. That is what they are trying to tell us. Any part of the world can do it. We can still save Earth. We can do better. If not for ourselves, we can do it for our kids, for our children. It is important we save our Earth.
Anyway, funny enough, is the same. Our people, they do not understand the importance of these things you're talking about, but we do hope that with this kind of shows we have, with more awareness, keep singing, keep talking, keep ringing it, and people will get to understand the importance of the environment, the importance of all this you have actually talked about. And we do hope as well that our government will do what they are supposed to do. And especially especially I'm seeing something that is making me laugh. The same place our people go to for tourism, the same people that will not leave space for these things, they will still go to Dubai for tourism, to sightsee, to snap. Oh, beautiful place. Why can't we bring this initiative home? That is the question we should actually ask our people. Anyway, ma'am.
And I come to think of it, funny enough, Dubai's idea was just one man's idea. He sat down and thought about it, that instead of traveling to the West, we can have those things here and even do better. And today, Dubai is the envy of every part of the world. They are the ones setting the target for UN now, that by 2025, we'll have green this, we'll have green that, and everybody is emulating it. So with that willpower, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. It's just to have the political will. And I pray. I did not want to mention prayer because we are always praying in Nigeria.
Yes.
I pray one day we'll have somebody that will have that strong will to take the bull by the horn and do what is right and forget hypocrisy. And we will stop all this prayer thing and be realistic.
Anyway, I love the fact that you said you don't want to mention prayer, because I'm happy to hear that. We should leave God alone for a while. God has given us everything we actually need. And we should look at the news this morning. Our dear governors, only refreshment is 1 trillion in 3 months, and then they are
Just
refusing to pay
imagine.
workers. Anyway, ma, thank you so
Nigeria,
much. We are quite enlightened this morning. The fact that you came here, spending your time with us, talk about these very important things. Like I said, I'm in the UK. I know the importance of these things. You dare not. Sometimes you have a green area, but there's a patch for you to walk. You dare not march on the grass. You will not even like what will happen. You already know that is a country with laws, and you don't cut corners. The moment you do it, there are punishments. You are taken in for it, and there is no abeg or who know who. We already know what's happening to
Mm-hmm.
you. So this is not a place you actually disobey the law. And I feel that our government also, they should do these things like what this person is saying, see these things and do them. Look at Dubai today. Everybody flies to Dubai. Everybody wants to go to Dubai for tourism. But at the end of the day, we see these things. We have the land. Look at Taraba State. It's a very beautiful state. They have the green area and all that, but nobody's even harnessing that state. Even the state governor itself cannot harness the states, for the people.
I
Anyway,
think,
go ahead,
can you hear
sir.
me?
Yes, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
think I think one of the major problem we have is the government not consistent with their laws. You see, especially we human being and Nigerians, we are stubborn. You understand? Imagine a government to bring a law today. For example, you will say everybody in this area or in this particular market dump refuse on this particular place. We will discover that that is a government that has brought that law. To come and take those dirty is another problem.
Another problem.
So, man, what's your advice for the government? Because this environmental is a very big thing and is affecting us, it's killing us every day, which the government do not really understand. So, what's your advice for
I,
our government of Nigeria?
I think the people actually they don't have problem at all, because
Okay.
once government is serious about it, people will conform. The people in the UK are not different from people in Nigeria. When you talk
At
about
all.
character wise, the people in the US are not different from Nigerians. In short, it was during that US election that people barged into their National Assembly and attacked people, were climbing fences.
Yes.
It was a confirmation that humans are just humans. For me, that was what I got out of it. I say humans are just humans because these people in the US now are just behaving like normal Agbero boys. Are you getting it? So
Yes.
whatever government brings to the table, they will make people to conform with it. People will naturally conform with it. It is what you put on the table that determines what the outcome will be. You have been elected there as a leader. You are to lead the people and that move them towards a particular direction. And once they see you leading them towards a particular direction, they must conform. It is natural that you have some deviants, but there are ways of taking care of deviants in society. And I know these people in power are aware of these things, but they just take advantage of us and they keep doing it over and over again. Because nobody is to call them to book. There is nothing. The Constitution also backs them. Because they have a way of maneuvering their way through the Constitution and bending it to favor themselves. So it is just that political will, that self-will to have a leader that is truly a leader that is ready to bring about change. When we have that, Nigerians will conform. We are not, the people in the US are not different from us. People in the UK are not, we are all the humans. Humans must always resist whatever you bring new. But with time, as long as they see that it is for their benefit, they will conform.
That's true.
Well, she has said it all. It's left for us to listen and to our government to hear her loud and clear. Thank you so much. She said it. Even in the UK here, you see a child eating ice cream, and when she's done or he's done, they won't drop it on the ground until they get to a street trash can. They will drop it. Now that is the child. these things have been inculcated in them, and they know that when they see adults
From their
doing it,
children.
they do it as well. Unlike our people that somebody's driving in Abuja flinging trees. And another thing, like what he said, our government sometimes are not consistent. You see a minister coming destroying one part of Abuja, another comes and destroy, another come and destroy. All this is effect on the ground, on the earth as well. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time for being with us this morning. Viewers, we've been on the show with an environmentalist. You can see that she's actually a professional and grounded in that field. Mrs. Bridget Odette, thank you so much. We're very grateful for your time, ma'am.
It's been nice talking to all of you. Thank you very much.
And happy World Environment Day, ma'am.
Thank you very much. And you too.
Okay, we move on to the other business of the day. I like the woman, she's very, very vibrant. She's grounded in that field as well.
Very
I think we should have her on the magazine. Mary, please talk to her. Let's talk. Let her say it more. Let's interview her so we'll have her. At least that's a way of archiving what she has said and even passing it to more people. Anyway, comrade, now we have time. Let's go back so quickly to our dear Punch, and some of the stories we have this morning are really not appealing. We saw governors here spending whopping 990, is it 93, Mary, how much?
908 billion naira on refreshment. Others in 3 months. 30 governors spent 968 billion naira in 3 months for refreshment.
And then look at the headline here that is saying minimum wage talks. Labour considers 100 as Tinubu issue. But what's your take on this, comrade? Because we have governors that are spending money, and our DSC lawmakers as well. But we have the workers have been going back and forth with the government. Let's look at this. I want you to marry that headline there that governors spend so much, almost close to 1 trillion in 3 months for refreshments alone, and then we're here still Labour still dragging back and forth with federal government for stipends, compared to what these are governors are actually spending. What's your take on that, comrade?
Thank you very much. For me, I think what Labour are doing, they are actually doing the right thing, fighting for us Nigerians. Because what I've come to understand is that we have government that are selfish. You understand? They don't consider the people. They don't consider their citizens and their masses. I cannot imagine now Labour considering 100,000 naira. To me, it's not bad. But the problem we face now, is not only on the money aspect. Things are increasing every day, and the governments are folding their hands. I cannot imagine that now, if peradventure you tell me a minimum wage is 100,000, houses are expensive every day. Foodstuffs are expensive every day. And we have a government that is supposed to sit down to understand. I believe the reason why they don't feel what our people feel and they think Labour is asking for much is because major things they do, they don't do it with their money. You understand? Because I cannot imagine if you can spend such amount in just a refreshment and you are still considering paying 100,000 as a minimum wage, a difficult thing in the country. For somebody that, imagine this person go to work almost nearly every day. Cost of transportation has increased. I think there is one thing that Labour need to inculcate. It's not even only the money we are looking at. Let things calm down. I have come to understand that in Nigeria, everything that goes up never come down. Are we supposed to be like that? We keep on hearing subsidy this, subsidy that. Now, when we have government that are not, because they don't consider us. That's why I think it is a very difficult thing what Labour is fighting for now, because we have government that are there, they don't understand what we face. So that is why, that is my take, because if we have money in this country, because if such amount can be used for just a refreshment, then are you telling me that it is difficult for the federal government to pay whatsoever Labour is asking for? It is not. When we generate income every day, taxes are paid every day. So I think it's that time the government understand from an angle too where the Labour people are coming from. Thank you very much.
Well, anyway, these people will always have a way of, making me laugh, governments, because they don't actually know what they are doing. But that the Chris will always say is a little bit of wickedness, stupidity, and witchcraft all together, mixed together. And I want to agree with him. And Mary, talking about this, we are even saying that this 100,000 is not
100,000
even
naira.
it's not even what we're saying. People, these are just insinuation, because president order minister to calculate cost, labor give 1 week of
100,000.
later. And maybe, and just because they are giving time, let's not come and hear 70, 80, 75, 65, or even I think in as much as people feel like the 490 something is not doable, we think that government should do something reasonable. Like you said,
Yes,
it's not about the salary, it's about the cost of living. We are talking about your accommodation as a worker. We talk about your medicals. We talk about your feeding. We talk about your welfare as a human being. We talk about your the logistics from one place to another, even going to work, transportation. And by the end of the day, you see that there is no take home. In fact, you are not the one using your own savings, your own money
your own money.
to work for government, and that is not good enough. Mary, now there's a story here that is frightening. Police
Okay.
hunt for tenants as landlord dies during rent face off. This is what we're talking about. Apparently, if this person was having the rent, they wouldn't have had these issues. The man wouldn't have died. And landlord, this issue, especially Abuja landlords, the way at which they are now increasing rents during
So
this time we are, economy is bad enough. You will see somebody that built a house 10 years ago, 5 years ago, not like they want to renovate the house, but they are increasing, they keep increasing, and not like the house is a new house. And
in
so
the
these are
economy,
some of the issues, Mary.
you said what?
I said these are some of the issues, with landlords, the
And
increments.
they tend to use the present situation of the country as an excuse. You go to some houses, you see some tenants complaining that their landlord actually gave them just a week to pack out. I've never seen where such happens. Like, even if your rent expires, you give the person just a week to leave the house. How can the person go and start something for us within 1 week? I feel like even if somebody wants to leave your house, you should give them at least some time. That 1 week is too short. And when they tell you to pack out, if you don't, that is when these issues comes up, because they tend to want to fight you. They want to bring people to make troubles. And if you're a tenant that is also troublesome, that's how you will be fighting each other. So the thing is just too much. And at the end of the day, they'll use the excuse of high price in cement and every other building material as an excuse. So what about, just like what you said earlier on, what about people that already has their building for over a long time, over decades? So why are they increasing it even at this point? So the thing is just too much. It's too much. And I know that because it's high already, we are in a country where if things actually goes up in price, it's difficult for them to come down. And that's why when they talk about this minimum wage, my problem is the minimum wage is actually not my problem. How can they reduce things? Because it's not everybody that will even gain in this minimum wage. What about some people in the private sector where you think that it will not actually affect the wage? So they should reduce the price of things. Because if they agree to even pay this money, then I doubt if they're actually going to reduce the price of things in the market. It's definitely going to affect
They
a lot
will
of people.
increase.
That's it. You said what?
I think they will increase. You discover that things are being increased again.
Yes, It's not
Right?
like the minimum wage.
Kidnapping.
We're not forgetting that is just it has to do with just the government workers. What about those in the private sector? There are still people that receive even 30,000, 40,000 naira as salaries. What about those sales girls, sales boys, and all of that? You get so, and how can you expect people that receive such amounts to be able to afford foodstuffs at the end of the day, where they still pay transport from the same amount? So it's for them to consider reducing the price of things. It is very important for me, like very, very important, even more than that minimum wage, if you ask me, honestly.
That's true.
Anyway, and Mary, there's another disturbing here. We talk about illegal mining, and this is example of it, where we see, a pit collapse, and we can see that people actually stuck there. I do hope that the state government. There's a story here that say one killed 50 miners trapped as pit collapses in Niger. Now, this is where towards illegal mining. The government will not always do what is right. We have a whole 50 miners, trapped there. And we do hope you can see the story, you can see the picture there as well.
It might even
Of
be that they are breaking stones, because this is one thing you find them doing in the north. Like they enjoy breaking stones very well. Like all these stones they use in building houses. They might actually come to a big rock. You see this people when they focus on that rock within 2 to 3 months, or let me say at most 6 months, you see that that rock will finish. Even not just even in Nigeria, just in Suleja here, you see most of the rocks are finished. Like they have finished all the rocks. They'll break them until they make sure that they have almost finished all the part of it. When they break this rock, these people will come and sell it for all these big trucks. Sell it for a very high, huge amount. If you tell they tell you that nobody owns the rock, that it's just everybody comes there to meet it, so they have every right to break it. It's something that they have been doing. And with what I'm seeing in this picture on the punch, it looks as if it's also the rock that they break, because they sell it to people that are building houses and they make money from it. So that's what they do.
This, yeah.
These are some of the issues, So please, we do hope that Niger State government governor is a young guy, Bago. We do the needful to make sure that, in as much as is a very terrible situation, we do hope that most of them will be rescued, because we're talking about, rock. This picture I'm seeing is rock. We know the landscape of Niger. We know how the environment is as well. And then I saw a story here that said Police Service Commission unveils, that PSC unveils 10,000 recruits, drop 61,092 applicants. I know that a lot of people, the police is recruiting as well, but what we want to say to our dear police is that please, it's not just recruiting these people, it's actually, giving them, teaching them, what to do as police people, because we know a lot of Nigerian police are not actually making us proud on the highway, the way they harass people. There's a word they call this accidental discharge here and there. I think the police service needs to do more, in actually sensitizing this new intake, in creating, teaching them, training. I know they go for training though, but I think we should have more professional training, not just, I think our police can actually be. Normally, when I see Ghana police, I used to like them, the way they are dressed, the way they talk to you. And same here in the UK, I've never seen a policeman here before. You don't see them on the road. I've always seen their vehicles, or maybe something happened, they park, but I've never seen them anywhere standing, uh, here, they say here the police are your friend. If something is happening, if you see a policeman, that means you are free, because they will take you safe home or to a safest place. Unlike our place, somebody have a dread or tattoo, you see a police and you begin to run away, because they might just accuse you of, what you are not, or what you are not into as well. So I think they should do sensitive training, and to know, to to actually know these things. We move on quickly to the next newspaper we have. But before then, we'll quickly go on a break. And when we return, we'll be looking at is it Punch or Vanguard, Mary?
Vanguard is the next paper. I think we are now liking
Hey.
Vanguard.
Oh, okay. If it's Vanguard, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break. Ooh la la! The second edition of the Nigerian Week London 2024 is here.
It's another blend of arts and culture, entertainment, business, and networking activities.
A week-long extravaganza showcasing the best of Nigerian music, dance, craft, fashion, and businesses.
Taking place at the prestigious Lighthouse Theatre, 262-274 Camberwell Road, London, SE5 OAY. Date 22nd to 28 July 2024.
Tickets are available at eventbrite.com. For partnership and sponsorship, please visit superiorradioandtelevision.com
or call +4407 459 513 619 or +4420 3623 8755.
Email info@superiorradioandtelevision.com or visit our website www.superiorradioandtelevision.com/Nigerian Week 2024.
Come and experience a nation's culture that resides in the heart and in the soul of its people.
Looking for a home away from home in Abuja? Look no further than SRTV Shortlet Apartments. Our fully furnished apartments offers everything you need for a comfortable and relaxing stay. Unwind in spacious rooms with exquisite ambience. Cook delicious meals in our well-equipped kitchen and relax in our comfortable sitting rooms watching your favorite shows. And guess what? 247 Wi-Fi available. But that's not all. SRTV goes extra mile by providing a car to take you around town during your stay. No need to worry about navigating public transportation or hailing taxis. Explore Abuja at your own pace. Book your SRTV Shortlet apartment today and experience the perfect blend of comfort and convenience. You can reach us by calling this number 070-6237-9915 or 080-7082-7331.
Hello viewers, you're welcome back from that quick break. If you just joined us, this is Wake Up Nigeria, and of course we have quite a lot coming in from the news. We're still having federal government and of course the organized labor going back and forth. We can't wait to see what the federal government will put on the table, and if the labor, of course the organized labor, we applaud, or of course we embark on another strike. And we've seen the nonchalantness of our dear governors, spending a whopping, almost 1 trillion naira on refreshment just for 3 months. It's actually shameful, for me. That is my personal opinion. It's shameful, it's disgraceful, and I want to believe this is the reason they don't want to let go of our dear local governments to touch the lives of the people, and of course to start creating wealth on their own. Anyway, we'll move on quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that will be the Vanguard.
Okay, and the big story on the Vanguard says a minimum wage. Give course to government today. Tinubu orders finance minister. And here the writer says, as Labour suspends strike for 5 days, says negotiation should be completed as soon as possible. Why we suspended the strike? This is coming from NLC and TUC. Committee on Minimum Wage adopts agenda for today's meeting. Senate Action 8 asks federal government to expedite action to stop industrial unrest. AGF should prosecute states, that failed to pay 30,000 minimum wage. And this is coming from Falana. And all these stories are on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. And here we have another story that says, editors play increasing spate of journalist abduction. And that story is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. 30 fear dead as mine site collapses in Niger. And here we have another story that says, Edo Ondo Guba. INEC extends voters registration deadline to June 9. And that's on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. Labour leaders must reconsider wage demands to avoid layoffs. And this is coming from the Rain. And that story, that story is on page 21 of the Vanguard newspaper. I think these are all the stories we have this morning on the Vanguard.
Quite a lot coming from the Vanguard as well. And we know that in as much as the labor issue is very tantalizing. I want to move away from it until I even see what federal government will offer. So I'm going to leave the main headline. We have other stories here. Uh, we have other stories here that says Edo Ondo Guba INEC extend voters registration deadline to June 9. Now we know that, comrade, we know that we have elections, especially Edo, that the tension is very high there right now, and INEC actually extending voters registration. This means that maybe people are not registering, and this is another thing. Where do we move away from the fact that how do we get our people out of that place? Where I'm not, no need to register, my vote will not count. Do you think this is another situation? Because that might be the only reason why INEC is actually extending the registration deadline, because people are not forthcoming to register.
Thank you very much. I think most of the people that are not coming to register actually are not their fault. It's high time INEC on their own work on their own side. Reason being that now, if you see, I remember during the last general election, I was in Edo State. You understand? I did my voters registration. So I did it online. I was supposed to complete it in Edo State. So getting to the office, I discovered that first of all, most of their machines are not even working, and they have limited people. Due to these reasons, so many persons were not able to register in the last general election INEC registration. So they see this opportunity because state election is coming up. They see it as an avenue to get their own ID card. And still coming for this state election, you are still facing the same problem which you faced before. I cannot imagine probably coming out today to do your registration. You see people more than 1,000 persons, and just 3 persons are attending to them. And you are putting the registration for 2 weeks. It cannot cover. You cannot. It like there are some persons that got tired because having stayed there for morning till night, spending.
Okay, we have network issues with Comrade, but I understand what he's trying to say. Is the I think the system itself, people are, we've always complained about the electoral process, INEC itself, all the process put together is either one fault or the other. We also saw, the lapses during the general elections, and at those state was seeing the same thing. He is complaining, at least he has witnessed it there, where you have this massive crowd outside, and then you have just few persons working, attending to these people, forgetting that these same people, they have businesses to take care of elsewhere. So coming there to spend their whole day there, and at the end of the day, apparently they might not even be attended to. These are some of the issues. I think INEC needs to do more. A lot of people we have spoken to here on the show, and even outside the show, have always blamed the electoral system on these lapses and these issues we keep having during elections. And we do hope that, with this extension of registration, the vote people, we actually eligible voters, we go and do the needful, because it is actually your right to vote. You need to vote. Do not have the mindset that it might not count, it will count, but you need to vote. Now, Mary, there's a story here as well that says, um, editors flay increasing spike of journalist adoption, especially in Abuja now. That what is going on?
Yes, it's the way they arrest journalists in Abuja. So I think the editors are actually coming out to complain about it, and also how these are terrorists in the country. Also, how it
They are
affects.
targeting journalists.
Yes, so they're actually saying that the federal government can actually wipe away all these enemies. They can do something about this. And the way they arrest the journalists illegally, as if they're not doing their jobs. And the federal government have been so silent about it. They have not been doing anything about it. So they're actually saying they will take action of it. They should start doing something about the way they have done these journalists. I think that is what they have been talking about on the issue.
Well, I am happy that the editors actually wrote this. Maybe this will draw the attention of the federal government to the fact that journalists are just doing their jobs. They are the watchdog of society and the bridge between the government and the people. As such, their lives must be secured. Anyway, there's a question I wanted to ask Comrade, but we move on to the next newspaper. Maybe when we're back, we cannot actually, when it's back, we can go back to that story.
Okay. So which of the papers are we taking? I should take the Guardian newspaper. Okay, I think that is even talking about our today's topic.
Okay.
That is World Environment Day, on the big story. How illegal mining, deforestation, others leave Nigerians poorer. And that story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And here there's a story that says NG condemns increasing space of journalists abduction. And you can find that story on page 2 of the Guardian newspaper. And here there's a story that says Senate tackles labor over blackout, Hajj flight disruption. And that story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. And here there's a story that says strike. Tinubu blinks, uh, Tinubu blinks, gives finance minister 48 hours to table action plan. You can find that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Bandits abduct varsity lecturer, family in Katsina. And you can find that story on page 28 of the Guardian newspaper. Oshun APC expels Aregbesola, warns members against associating with ex-governors groups. And that story is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Here we have another story that says INEC extend CBR exercise captures 120,458 new voters in Edo and Ondo State. And that story is on page 27 of the Guardian newspaper. And here we have a story that says IGP warns senior officers against extorting personnel over promotional interview. And that story is on page 9 of the Guardian newspaper. And these are all the stories we have this morning in the Guardian.
Mm. I think I love the fact that the IGP is actually warning senior police officers against extortion. Extorting personnel over promotional interview. I said it before that our security, especially the police, they need, proper training, to build professionals. It's only in Nigerian police you see that they are leaving their clothes unbuttoned, looking not looking good. You see a policeman here. At least I snapped with some I saw at an event here. You needed to see the way they look, man. That is what we're talking about. Go to Ghana, it's the same thing. They look so cute. You want to have a picture with them. And so I think these warnings and training is very necessary. And now I don't know why Senate will have to tackle labor. Senate has been there doing nothing, very dormant, passing bill for national item and other irrelevant things. And now Labour has decided to do the needful. You are tackling them over blackouts and hard flight disruption. It's not only hard people flights that
But
are actually
that's the problem.
we had
They
other
will not
people
see the ones that they have
traveling.
been.
No, we had other people traveling as well across the country. International flights and everything were actually disrupted. So why are they not talking about that? And besides, they know what strike is. That is the definition of a strike. You do not go on a strike and you begin to bend corners or you begin to say, oh, allow these ones to go and these ones not to go. There has been an ultimatum given to government, and Nigerians were aware that on a set date they are coming out to shut down the country. So why are they angry? That is what I don't get. If there was an ultimatum, if there was, they've been singing it, they've been saying it that we are going on a strike so day. By month ending, we are shutting the country down. It's going to be a national strike. So why are the Senate actually angry over this? That information they should have, bear that in mind. And people also traveling. For instance, if I were to be in Nigeria and my flight was to be that day, I would have moved, knowing fully well that that day is going to be a chaotic day. We all know I've been covering labor for years. I've joined their live protests, and I know what their protests look like. Now, comrade, there's a story I
Yeah.
really want us to look at. When let's talk about the minimum wage again. Now, that minimum wage, we know that because if you go back to the Vanguard newspaper, because you were not here, I wanted to actually ask you that question. If you go back to the Vanguard
Okay.
newspaper, you will see that there's a story here, one of under the headline, the writer that says AGF should prosecute states that fail to pay 30,000 minimum wage. Now, that is coming from Falana. We all know Falana, our dear son.
Yes,
Falana,
son.
yes, the son, fast father, is not saying that state that even before now that have refused to pay the 30,000 minimum wage should be, should be prosecuted. Now, yes, we know that a lot of them were not able to meet up the 30,000, or they have deliberately refused to pay the 30,000 minimum wage. And now that the labor is now clamoring for such amount, do you think that is even doable for other state government, knowing fully well that they were not able to pay 30? How would they be able to pay maybe 200, 400, 100? Who knows?
Talking about that, I was discussing with someone yesterday, and he said one thing, that the issue they are having here is that some states might not be able to pay that minimum wage. Now, back to your question, those that have not been able to pay 30,000 naira, and you are bringing this one, how will they pay? Everything has to do with administration and management. I see no reason why a state that is running will find it difficult to pay a 30,000 minimum wage. You understand? I see no. So if a state has not paid that money, I think they should be penalized, because when you see their expenditures, they bring out in a month and in a year, and you are still owing that minimum wage as low as 30,000 naira. Then those states that have not been able to meet up to that minimum wage issue, they have commissioner of economic planning. They have commissioner of economic planning in every state. At least when planning your budget, you plan and you assign. The reason why some of them face this issue and these challenges is because they use money for irrelevant things that you're not supposed to use money for. Now, by the time you've used money for irrelevant things, it now makes it difficult for you to pay workers. Now you cannot tell me that no matter what, I believe they pay their commissioners, their ministers. Then why then are you owing the workers their salary, even as low as? So I think in their own governance, they are at fault. So if they cannot manage the things, then they should definitely. There are some governors can run without even borrowing a loan. Some governors can run.
My problem, comrade, is that a lot of states, like I said right now about Niger State, they are not harnessing. They are not. They don't want to produce. They don't want to manufacture. They just want to consume. And now this is the problem we have. Everybody sits, governors. Our governors sit and wait for federal government allocation, and they keep squandering. And that is the same thing we're seeing with the governors now going to court with the federal government. We saw in one of the papers that the lawmakers back federal government, on autonomy issue, so that the local government can totally be free from the state government.
For the state government.
A lot of governors, a lot of the state are not actually harnessing. I will keep talking about Taraba because it's a very beautiful place. And of course, we'll talk about Niger. Niger has the biggest empty space of land in the country. And then they are not able to, harness this land. If you go there, the land is wasting. Travel to Bida, travel to other western states through Niger, you will see that the state is so big, but it's empty. Meanwhile, they have this green land where they can plant, where they can actually do things,
Agriculture.
Yes, put companies and all that, but we're seeing that most of the states, the governors are just there dumb, and they come and they start doing road. That is what they are used to. They do road, they do street lights, and they are done.
I discovered that even sometimes, there are some I've seen, like Niger that you said. Niger, they are blessed with lands, and they have green lands area. So if Niger depends only mostly on mining, those are what they. But if those states now, the thing is that major issue we have, like
they don't even depend on mining, because these are illegal miners. The government itself is not even looking towards it. That's why you have the rate of illegal mining so high. People just go, private people, and do what they do. That is what we've been seeing in Niger, in Plateau State, in Nasarawa State. Now, this is what the state government is supposed to be guiding critically, because that is supposed to be their own, good man, having so much from there. Look at Delta State. What is the governor doing? Nothing. They are not doing anything. They're only building roads. Why do they keep building roads? Okowa was a road master. Now we have another one.
No, for Delta State, if you see the present Governor Sheriff Oboiwoye, I would say in just 1 year in office, he has actually done some remarkable things you could see. Like yesterday, a project was commissioned where the former president visited Delta State to commission the courts. Now, if you see, the man presently is trying to, because what he met on ground, what he met on ground where he saw some abandoned project which in his tenure less than a year he has completed. So I would think that if the governor of Delta State is giving more time.
What are these projects, comrade?
Okay, now, like you see, the project that was commissioned yesterday, the court project was abandoned project. He finished it. The Asaba Road was abandoned. He finished it. Now Julius Berger is currently working.
You don't want to keep hearing roads. When they keep doing roads, is a problem. I had an analyst on this show. I'm going to send you the clip. We had an analyst, was it 2 days ago, from Lagos? A sitting councillor from Lagos, that said that a governor should not, a governor or their SSs should not come on air. Was it yesterday? Yesterday, thank you. The commissioner for commerce, the present commissioner for commerce from Ebonyi State was here on the show yesterday, and he said no governor should come out to say, I've been doing road, I did this road. No, road is a basic thing. You are not supposed to count that amongst your projects. And so when the governor spent 1 year, 4 years telling us about road, it's shameful, and that is my stand. Oborevori should have things to do, impact on people, wealth creation, do things that will bring money for the states. That is what we're saying. Anyway, I'm not going to debate Oborevori this morning. He's my governor as well, so I'm not going to debate him this morning. That is not the core issue this morning. We move on quickly this morning to there's a story I think I saw on Daily Trust. I want us to just look at before we go to the spot and we'll wrap up the show. Now, this main headline here says minimum wage, Labour vows to reject little addiction to 60,000. I said it before, maybe because the
1,000 is addition. Even 61,500 is addition. So they know it's better they actually state it clear that they will not accept minimum addition. And the thing is, like yesterday, I actually had to put out a question on my page. I was asking how much do they actually want for the minimum wage, and I think the list that fellow Nigerians have been saying is 150,000 naira.
150.
150. Yeah, that's what I've been saying. A lot of the replies I got yesterday was 150, and I said, okay, let's see. But I'm not sure our government will help that though.
Anyway, we do hope that whatever this federal government, we see this headline, anything little, because as far as I'm concerned, I said it before, I've been saying it, 50, 70, 65, 80, 90 is above 60. So I don't want the federal government to do that. But my worry here is that states, I actually like what Fanala said. If states that refuse to pay 30,000, they should be prosecuted ahead of this one, so that they know that this new minimum wage is not negotiable. They must have to pay. The state
Yes.
governments must have to pay, because they have so much to throw around. So they should pay their workers as well, and they should harness look into their states. I believe they will make so much money. We quickly look at the sport and we wrap up the show today.
Okay, and we have the Punch Sports Extra. And the big story says, Lookman, is it? Fans vote Atlanta forward best Nigerian footballer of 2023-2024 in Punch Sports Extra poll. Okay, and you can see the poll, the name. I think we have Lookman, Ademola
Are these
Lookman.
the best, Mary?
You said?
Are these the best we have?
Yeah, so let me go through their names
Yes.
and see. Ademola Lookman with 36 votes, Victor Boniface 21 votes, Victor Sime 12 votes.
I refuse. How can Osimhen have 12 votes?
Because you're hearing his name up and down. I said the hype is too much. You think I'm lying? Too much hype. Then this girl, her name has always been trendy. This Asisat Oshuala.
Asisat.
Vote. Yeah, Asisat. Like, she's actually making name for the female league though. The female league. Chiamaka Nnadozie as well. Her name is also there with 7 votes. Then others, they didn't list them, 15. And the total is 100. So these are the ones we have. Now let me see.
I don't like this analysis, so Mary. Osimhen should be top,
Football don't lie.
No.
I've seen it. It's something
Osimhen,
to watch.
they hyping him now.
Thank God, don't worry, we are coming to that. The hype is too much, but football is something you see, so they cannot lie. It's a game that you see and you judge from it. And there's a story about Osimhen here. Napoli eyed 2 Arsenal players in Osimhen swap deal. This swap that they want to swap since. Anyway, the story is on page 6 of the Fun Sport Extra. And we have PSG own Mbappe, I think 92 million euro following exit. And we have another one. Korean boxers sleep in Olympic qualifiers. And that's on page 2. We have another story that says 5 stranded players arrive Eagles camp in private jets. Wow. 20 players in camp.
It's not about private jet, though. These people should be doing their best, Mary. Not private jet matter.
Wow. Because anytime they come, you be seeing them on media, different pictures, 5 boys. Wow. It's just what I'll be doing until they're done. Okay, I don't know. I think these are the major stories we have. Okay, there's one that says ask Adesina.
I'm happy that Iwobi is there as well and Lookman is there.
I'm happy Iwobi is there because the insult on the net on our last match wasn't making any sense. Alex Iwobi, like, the thing was too much. The cyber bully was too much for the guy. But thank God, I think he's back to his feet.
No, they are not actually there. They say 20 players in camp. Lookman, Iwobi, Okoye expected. So maybe
for his name to be as it means he will come at least. He even accepted to play. I was thinking that I would have interest in anything that has to do with the Super Eagles because it was too much that last time. But Nigerians, we have our way of making somebody look bad and see their good is not enough. Okay, I think these are the major stories we have.
Yes, I love the fact, but my only sadness here is that I was thinking of Osimhen, Victor will be number 1. That is somebody I really love. Anyway, that would be a good place to wrap up the show.
You think Victor is our number 1 player in Nigeria because you've been hearing his name? It's not the number 1.
Yes, now. I don't think
so you don't know Lookman.
Rushing him. Even club they rush and then they rush him now. What? That is our Mbappe, man. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Comrade, Victor is just like do you know Rashford? I think Victor is just like Rashford, Victor Sime. Because they know that when it comes to goal, he has this interest in scoring goal. You understand? He knows how to score goal. So they always want to. And you remember Haaland also, the goal machine. It's just like Haaland. It's Haaland I wanted to talk about. It's just like whenever Haaland is on the pitch, you see everybody wants to attack him. Because they know that that's how Victor is. If you give Victor space, he will score. But that doesn't make him the best player. Sometimes it is people that actually help this goal scoring. You know
They
that
help him.
help you. We understand. We help you navigate through.
Yeah.
But it's just that person that scores the goal that you hear their name. But me, I'm watching ball. I always know that it is that pass, the way the people give the pass, that lead you to score the goal. It's just that you know that those people, their name will not come out again. It is you that scored the goal that will keep
Yeah.
hearing. You understand? But there are other good players there that you are not hearing about. But just because we always talk about Osimhen because he scores goal. If you don't give him a good pass, he will not score any goal. But we don't see it that way. You get. So I'm just trying to clarify, Princess, thinking Osimhen is one of our best players. Osimhen is not one of our best
He's
players.
my best, so I don't know what you are saying.
I'm not the best player. He scores goals, quite all right. But we have a lot of people that can play very well, even if they don't score. So that is how we will judge this football team, not by only goal scoring.
Anyway, that would be a good place to wrap up the show. Thank you so much, comrade.
Thank
Gospel, for being on the show today. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, viewers. Thanks for your comment. Thanks for your time. And thanks to our able, environmentalist that was with us earlier on World Environment Day. Of course, she took us through the importance of the environment and what we the do's and the don'ts. Of course, and today also the world celebrates, HIV long-term survivors day. Now, this is the day to create awareness for people living with the virus, and of course, it's not a one-day thing. I think throughout the year, throughout this month, they have different events lined up for HIV victims, and of course, it's a day to create awareness for to honor their longevity. They have been surviving, they are warriors, so we should not discriminate against them. If you know one of them, talk to them, give them reason to live, give them hope to live. And so today we celebrate those living with the virus. That would be a good place to wrap up the show today, as we celebrate so many things today. Even today is World Running Day as well. Maybe after this show, try and run when you get home. Do not
I'm very
take
lazy.
it.
I cannot
Try
run.
and run as well. We celebrate World Running Day. Anyways, viewers, thank you so much for being on the show today. Do not forget to subscribe to our social media handles. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and of course Twitter. Follow us on YouTube as well. Subscribe, like, hit on the notification bell. Leave us with your comments. We'd love to hear from you. Do not also forget our shortlets we have in Abuja, Lagos, and in London as well. It's a home away from home. Nothing but luxury, nothing but premium. You can have your birthdays, your showers, your bridal showers, your meetings, and your conferences. You can work there as well. You can take your family there, holidays. It's comfy. You have internet, you have cars to take you around to explore the city. That's one reason you should actually give us a call today and do your bookings today. Do not forget also our magazine. Last month edition is also out, where you can showcase your brand, your archives, everything that has to do with your amazing self to the world. And also our logistics were there. Quickly, we're at your doorstep. So please do reach out to us to get that delivery done right away. And most amazing thing today is the Nigerian Week London that is fast approaching. We already have a lot of people. Nollywood is coming on board. We have a lot of people, filmmakers. We're going to have the film summits. We're going to have film screening. We're going to have, the food show, Nigerian food show in the streets of London. And of course, we're going to have, the music section, extravaganza. We're going to have, the fashion show showcasing our beautiful, beautiful African West, Nigerian West, specifically to the world. And this will be the reason for you to give us a call today. Reach out to us. You can actually be part of the program, sponsor your brand, your product, and of course, whether or not you're coming to London, your brand can be here. We can sample it on the streets of London, and of course, they just give you a call. Do not forget also that we're going to be talking about the Nigerian real estate sector, and of course, the agriculture. Talking about world environment and all that. This is what we talk about, when we say agriculture, a lot of things as well. And real estate, why we talk about real estate is the essence of the green areas, beautiful estates. Now we are now advancing. These are some of the issues we will be looking at. And Nigerian Week London is a packed full event already. So give us a call, be part of it. You can partner with us, you can sponsor, or reach out to somebody that you know that, of course, will be interested. Thank you so much for being on the show today. It has been an amazing morning. Mary, try and plant a tray flower today. And comrade, do the same. Go around your place, plant something today. water, just go somewhere and water a flower, water a garden. That would be you celebrating the World, Environment Day. Mary, I mandate you, the two of you, to actually do that. Thank you so much. And what we always say, Mary, what's your last word before we go? Okay, what's wrong with Mary now? Okay, Mary, can we hear from you before?
Okay.
Mary, are you there?
Yeah, my network was bad. I think I'm back. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to hear from me?
Uh-huh.
Okay, today is World Environment Day. So people like me that don't see the importance of nature, I think we might start considering it as well. Let's see the beautiful part of nature and take a very good care of our nature. And also for we as the people, let's always take good care of ourselves. For health is wealth and cleanliness, they said, is next to godliness. Please, roll-on is not too expensive. The least we can get, I'm talking to the viewers, let's try and be making use of it. It's making no sense. Sometimes you just pass by, and when you pass people, you're in a vehicle with people, you can't breathe. It's that bad. So let's learn to take good care of ourselves. That's what I have to say.
And comrade.
Okay, what to hear from me? Today is World Environmental Day, and there's one thing I will say: whatsoever you give to the environment is what the environment gives to you. So if you treat the environment well, the environment will treat you well. If you treat the environment bad, it will treat you bad. So let's learn to take care of our environment, so we'll be happy and we'll live well. Thank you very much.
And we'll live long as well. That would be a very good place to draw the curtain. You know what I will always say? Be a good Nigerian, be a good citizen, be a good person, a good citizen, and of course, put a smile on the face of somebody today. Drive carefully. Don't drink and drive. But if you must drink water, obey the traffic laws, and do good to somebody today. That will go a long way for them. Thank you so much for being on the show. I remain yours truly, Princess Cassie. And of course, we do this again tomorrow, hopefully. Bye.
Ooh la la! The second edition of the Nigerian Week London 2024 is here.
It's another blend of arts and culture, entertainment, business and networking activities.
A week-long extravaganza showcasing the best of Nigerian music, dance, craft, fashion and businesses.
Taking place at the prestigious Lighthouse Theatre, 262-274 Camberwell Road, London, SE5. OAY. Date 22nd to 28 July 2024.
Tickets are available at eventbrite.com. For partnership and sponsorship, please visit superiorradioandtelevision.com
or call +4407 459 513 619 or +4420 3623 8755.
Email info@superiorradioandtelevision.com or visit our website www.superiorradioandtelevision.com/Nigerian Week 2024.
Come and experience a nation's culture that resides in the heart and in the soul of its people.
Looking for a home away from home in Abuja? Look no further than SRTV Shortlet Apartments. Our fully furnished apartments offers everything you need for a comfortable and relaxing stay. Unwind in spacious rooms with exquisite ambience. Cook delicious meals in our well-equipped kitchen and relax in our comfortable sitting rooms watching your favorite shows. And guess what? 247 Wi-Fi available. But that's not all. SRTV goes extra mile by providing a car to take you around town during your stay. No need to worry about navigating public transportation or hailing taxis. Explore Abuja at your own pace. Book your SRTV Shortlet apartment today and experience the perfect blend of comfort and convenience.